Hey everybody, welcome to another motivational video to inspire, encourage you, and uplift you to live your best, most amazing, joyful, stupendous, awesome, incredible life. Today, I want to talk more about relationships, and I was just getting off a corporate coaching call, and I realized like what I wanted to talk about today is something that a lot of people don't talk about, which is the energy of relationships. So much of what we experience in our relationships with our boo, our bae, our significant other, what we experience with our relationships with coworkers or people we work with or our boss or people that work for us is really unsaid. We put so much emphasis on, well, they said this to me, or they did this to me, or they made me feel this way, and we forget about the energy that is involved in relationships. And it goes back to the world that we live in and really metaphysics, that even like my awesome Apple Watch in the band, right, is actually, even though it looks solid, okay, the strap looks solid, but if you actually were to look at it underneath a microscope, it actually is made of protons, neutrons, everything else, and those molecules are vibrating and they're moving. And so energy is all around us all the time. And that's when we talk, people talk about the idea of a vibration. Basically, it's talking about the speed of the energy. And so low vibrational state of consciousness, which is depression, shame, guilt, those moods that I know very well from being depressed and coming out and wanting to be suicidal and everything else, is that's a very low vibrational state. And then of course you have the high vibrational state, which is peace, love, joy, abundance. All of that is on the higher vibrational state. So in your relationships, people say, well, I don't know why my husband or my wife doesn't appreciate what I do. I cook for them, I clean for them. I don't know why my wife doesn't appreciate the job that I do and how I provide abundance for her. Or we talk about the kids at school. As a teacher, I don't know why my students don't love and appreciate me. I spend so much time grading their papers and giving them feedback. Why don't they appreciate me? And then we do the same thing with our boss. Like, I do all this stuff for my boss. Why don't they appreciate me? And it's because you're forgetting that it's not the act of what you're doing, it's the energy of the act for what you're doing, right? You can make your wife or your husband breakfast out of spite. You can also make their breakfast out of love and joy. And we say, well, I'm doing all the right things, but why aren't they loving what I'm doing? Well, who is going to love something if you're doing it filled with resentment, if you're doing it filled with spite, if you're doing it as a place of anger, right? That is a negative, a low vibration energy. And when you create from a low vibrational energy, you're going to get more low vibrational energy back. That's the law of cause and effect. And even as a teacher, that was one of the things that I did wrong my first year as teaching, because I was so resentful of having lost my job, going into the classroom and students not behaving. A lot of times I'd be like, well, I'm doing the best I can and I'm trying to do my best, but I was resentful. I was resentful of the job. I was resentful of students not doing what I asked them to do. But instead of loving them and appreciating them anyway, I was giving them the vibration of resent. And this is even stronger when you look at relationships with your parents, with your siblings, with your husband or your wife, because you are actually more emotionally linked to them on a genetic level and an energetic level as well. Because your DNA is actually made up from your mother and your father's DNA. Your sister, your brother, your siblings have the same, or were made from the same DNA as you were. So you are more emotionally and energetically linked to them than you are to other people. And when you have a romantic partner and you sleep with them, you are also energetically exchanging energy. And so what you have to understand is that if you have a romantic relationship or if you have a familial relationship, those vibrationals, that vibration that you have toward them is amplified because your emotional energetic connection is stronger. So I think it's really important for you all who say, I have a great relationship with my son and daughter, but maybe it's rocky in my marriage. Or maybe you have a great marriage, but it's rocky with your son or daughter. Maybe you have an amazing relationship with your immediate family, it's rocky with your boss, or it's rocky with your coworker. I want you to ask yourself, what is the energetic vibration that I am giving off to them? Is this coming from a place of true love and understanding? Am I taking actions because I love them and I value them and I'm showing my appreciation for them? Or am I just doing the action to say I did the action, but my actual emotional feeling is one of resentment, hate, spite, and disgust? Because if you're doing something with hate, resentment, spite, and disgust, it doesn't mean anything. Your heart is not in the right spot. And they can feel that. They can feel that energy. And it actually is going to feed more of that into your relationship. So my big takeaway for you all today is don't just do something to do it. Don't just do something to say that you did it. Don't just do something because you feel guilty and you know you should do it. You need to ask yourself, why am I not willing to do this from a loving place? Why am I not willing to do this from a place of joy? Why am I not willing to do this from a place of peace? Because when you start to do things energetically from love, everything will start to change. Because it's never been about what you're actually doing. It's always been about the energy and the vibration that you give. And if you're around somebody in a romantic relationship for a long time who is never giving you the love or the energy you deserve, you can still have the power to choose to see them as their best self and give them love anyway. And even if they don't respond to you, it will always come back to you. It always comes back to you. It might come back from your son or your daughter. It might come back from your neighbor. It might come back from your boss. But it will always come back to you. And the reason why it feels shitty, if you have a student as a teacher who always presses your buttons, or you have a significant other that always presses your buttons, or a mom or a dad that always presses your buttons, or a son or daughter who always presses your buttons, the reason why it feels shitty is because you believe at some level that the way they treat you is a reflection of what you deserve. You are in agreement with it. Because if you didn't assign meaning to how they treat you as you doing anything wrong, if you didn't assign meaning to what they said about you as you being whatever it is that they call you or they say you or whatever, you allow yourself to continue experiencing love. And that's really what love is. Love is unconditional. Love means even when you do things that might hurt me or I don't agree with, I'm going to see the best side of you anyway. And we're not all human. There's going to be times where you're not angry, you're not upset, and maybe you even feel justified. But what I am saying is that you are always giving off energy in every single one of your relationships, and it really doesn't matter what you say or what you do. It matters how you feel when you say and how you feel when you do. So think about this the next time in your relationships. Think about, what energy am I in? Am I in a low vibration or my high vibration? And when you are in a high vibration and you see your significant other through the eyes of love, you see your son or daughter through the eyes of love, when you see your boss through the eyes of love, you are naturally going to want to show appreciation, gratitude, and do things for them, because that's coming from your heart, and it always comes back to you. I hope this was really great for you all to hear today. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to that YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, also check out our private Facebook group. If you're watching from Facebook, sign up and watch us on YouTube. There's some videos on YouTube that aren't on Facebook and vice versa. And make sure that you sign up for that 7-day relationship challenge if you haven't already. The link is down there in the comments. And maybe you feel stuck in your life. Maybe you feel that you're stuck in your finances or stuck in your job or stuck in your relationships, whatever it is. I have an amazing masterclass, 7 reasons why you feel stuck and how to get unstuck. Watch that as well. Remember, you are more beautiful than you realize. You're more loved than you know. And you're way more successful than you give yourself credit for. And you were born to slay.